So welcome to the flip flop. We call it the flip flop show. Today we have our guests, we have our co-host Romuald the Bard, and we have our guest here.
Hello.
Henry Willingsworth, all the way from
Willingsworth, yeah.
all the way from Ireland,
Scotland. Thanks, though.
Same thing.
Great.
Mr. Willingsworth, why don't you introduce yourself to our live audience that we're
Well, my name's
They're quite eager to hear what you have to say after the release of your new...
Okay. What's my name again?
Willingsworth.
My name is Mr. Willingsworth, and I just released a new book. And I'm turning into Jack, no, David Jones. Basically, my show is about... Basically, my new book is sort of a way, it's sort of an interesting introspective look at Scottish life and kind of the strange parallaxes you see in what am I looking at?
So, Mr. Willingsworth, would you say that your book has any sort of moral that a reader could construe?
Well,
perhaps.
The thing with my book is you sort of take from it what you give to it. So it depends on your experiences previously in life. I actually had in my Alpha Reader group there was a man who had lost.
So,
his dog.
Mr. Willingsworth, if I may interrupt you, are you trying to tell me and everyone who's watching in that you didn't put a moral in? It's up to us to.
Well, it's sort of a way of writing. it's like it's the biggest example to me is the Scarlet Letter. I don't know if you've read it.
I have.
Okay, so he kind of. Oh right, are you in the movie?
No, the TV series that's
this TV series.
It's slated for release early next year.
Okay.
Anyway, continue. So I don't want to interrupt you.
Oh right, that's cool then. So what we have is the Scarlet Letter. You know, you have like certain values that are put through by the different characters, right? But it's up to the reader to decide what is good and what is bad in the book, right? And for me, it's like I don't want to tell people what to think. You know, I try and leave it open.
Well, Mr. Willingsworth, I think my the co-host has a few questions he'd like to ask you. Actually, so
yeah.
If you just like to.
Yes, I forgot who I was really, but I'd love to ask you a few questions. Mr. Willingsworth, where is the basis? What kind of inspiration did you have for your main character in this book? You know, I know that a lot of times people base their characters on real people that they've met in their lives, and I wonder, where is the inspiration that you got this main character from?
That's a great question.
I mean, he's just a guy. He's a normal guy. He walks around, but he's normal.
yeah, that's completely right. I think the greatest hero of our time, as far as film, as far as books go, is actually the common man, right? That's who people can sort of identify with, and can really gain the most.
But Mr. Willingsworth, you're kind of a different guy. I mean, I don't see you relating with normal people like myself and my host.
Yes, not at all, actually.
No. And so, how did you, being a strange man, determine what a normal man was?
That's another great question. I think American cinema was a great thing for me to do. Just watch. I like to watch movies, especially like the big blockbusters, Battleship, Transformers, because I see like these are normal people, right? Like they live normal lives.
Yes, I love those movies.
And so I can kind of see like what these people are, and so I look at them and I try and emulate what they do in their approach, right? In my books, I try and make these people kind of reflect.
Mr. Willingsworth, that's all well and good about people and such who you think is real. Is a man who comes from your background more of a poor sort of, not ever having much money? You know, when I, a person like me from a rich British family, always had the best of everything. When someone like me would read such a text, how would that make you feel to know that the upper crust are reading your works?
Well, to be honest, I kind of, I expect it, because it's a great book. If you're not reading it, it's because you're not educated. It's because you don't understand what good literature is.
And you would consider yourself to be educated?
Well, I would say I'm educated more in the facts of life. I'm educated in a way that brings, that allows me to understand living situations, that sort of common sense sort of things that when you live in, posh life up at the top of the chain, you just don't get, You don't get it from Oxford, you don't get it from those private schools.
Well, Mr. Willingsworth, you're talking about schools and people going to schools. I want to know, have you ever been to a school of any kind? I read your, the writing about you, and it said that, you grew up in the slum.
Right, right, yep.
You didn't have a mother.
That's right, yep.
At home. And you basically stole, and you may have even killed a man. There was question.
Right. It's kind of like the, like I said, real life, Schools don't teach you anything. I didn't go to school, actually. I was taught by my older brother. My older brother was adopted.
So you did have him.
Yes. He was adopted, and not officially adopted, but he sort of just lived with us, Just kind of...
And by us, you mean you and your dog, perhaps?
No, I kind of lived in like a street crew, I lived with a street crew, right? And it's sort of like, Oliver Twist sort of situation. You have like someone that... So I didn't have a mother, but I had a man that would tell me to go out and do jobs so that we could get money for the rest of us. Kind of like August Rush, But I didn't do music, I wrote things.
Mr. Williamsworth, are you trying to understand that you think of yourself as sort of a contemporary Oliver Twist? Is that what I'm to be understanding?
That is exactly right, actually. Contemporary Oliver Twist, yes. And a twist on Oliver Twist, you might say.
And just as I was reading your novel, if it can be called that, I definitely noticed some undertones of Oliver Twist, and even some direct quotations from the book. So I was wondering if you could perhaps expound on that.
But you have to understand that Oliver Twist is in public domain now. There's no copyright, so I'm completely at liberty to quote it in my own work. And I don't even have to use like citations. I can just take large passages and put it into my book because they fit.
I think I understand. So if in my life, since I grew up playing the violin and the cello and the grand piano and such, and once I composed a song that was really Mozart's and I called it my own. Is that sort of what you're talking about?
Well, it's more like you're using passages of Mozart. You're not taking the whole song. Well, maybe you are, but you're also adding your own parts to it, right?
I understand completely, actually.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
same page.
If I'm improving on what Mozart did, okay? If I'm improving on the things that have come before, why not? Why not?
Okay, so where I come from, and I come from a distant land, they have this thing called fan fiction. Is that kind of what I'm feeling, here?
Fan fiction? I wouldn't call myself a fan, I'd call myself the Oliver Twist. I think I'm completely at liberty to do it because I am him, basically. So that's me. That's who I am, and I think that's.
You know what? It's been great having you on the show. We loved having Dr. Witherspoon here, and it's been great having you.
Thank you. It's great to talk about
Witherspoon. I appreciate your presence and your attire. Really, it just sets off the mood, and I think you'll have an increased readership from now on.
Thank you. It's great to be on this show and to.
All right, tune in next time for the.